So we have to talk about another shooting of a reportedly unarmed African-American citizen named Andrew Brown Jr. Let's talk about actual policing reform and whether there is any hope of achieving it. Because justice matters. Hey all, Glenn Kirshner here. So here we are again, talking about yet another fatal shooting by the police of someone who was reportedly unarmed and shot in the back. His name is Andrew Brown Jr., and this was a shooting that occurred in North Carolina, and it involved a local sheriff's department. As of right now, we don't really know what happened because the sheriff's office has refused to either release the body-worn camera footage or even show it to Andrew Brown's family. Not a good look. You would have thought we had taken at least one step forward in just the last couple of weeks, and not only as a result of the Derek Chauvin conviction for murdering George Floyd, but for the shooting in Minneapolis by, I believe it's Sergeant Potter, who shot Daunte Wright, reportedly confusing her gun for her taser. And the good news is, not a lot of good news there, but the good news is the Minneapolis Police Department instantly released the body-worn camera footage so we could see for ourselves what happened, and then they followed up with an arrest, a prompt arrest of that sergeant and a charge of second-degree manslaughter. We saw the shooting of the 13-year-old boy in Chicago, and instantly the police department released the body-worn camera footage so we could at least have an informed discussion, debate, argument, if need be, about whether that was excessive force or not. We also had the shooting in Columbus, Ohio, of 16-year-old Micaiah Bryant. And the police department instantly released the body-worn camera footage so we could see what happened there. And it's a little jumpy, you've probably seen it, but it seems to support the notion that Micaiah had a knife and was perhaps in the process of attempting to stab another citizen when the police officer intervened. But the point is, we can have an informed discussion, debate, even argument about whether it was excessive force or the proper use of force. But now we have the sheriff's department in North Carolina taking a giant step backward. We're not going to show you the body-worn camera footage of what our deputies did. Now, they are, I don't want to use the term hiding behind, so let me put it this way. They are hiding behind a law that they claim says we can't release body-worn camera footage without a court order. Fine. I haven't dug in and done any research yet, because this is kind of late-breaking news at this point, to see whether in fact there is a law prohibiting them from even showing the last minutes of their loved one's life to the family of the person the deputies just killed. But if there is a law, you know what the sheriff should have done? The minute that incident was reported, he should have walked down to the local DA's office and said, "Madam District Attorney, can you please file an emergency motion seeking permission from a judge to release this body-worn camera footage so I can show the family and I can show the public that my deputies did nothing wrong?" Didn't do that. So here we are again. Now, first of all, I think we can all agree that there are police officers who take an oath to protect and serve and do just that. They do it honorably, and they do it at considerable risk to themselves. But we see this excessive force after excessive force after excessive force, this stream of what seem to be attacks on generally citizens of color, African American citizens, Hispanic citizens. And here's the frustrating part. Everybody says we need police reform, we need to ban chokeholds, we need to prohibit this police tactic, we need to have strong police department leadership. All of that is true, but it only goes so far. Here's what I want to leave you with, and it's a little depressing, but there's an opportunity. People say we need good, strong police department leadership to set the moral, the honorable, the ethical, the empathetic tone in the police department, that you only use that force that's absolutely necessary under the circumstances. Well, guess what? In Minneapolis, it sure looks like they had and have that good, honest, moral, decent, empathetic leadership in Chief Arredondo, who testified against Derek Chauvin. So they have the good leadership piece. In Minneapolis, they have the excessive force policy piece. Why do I say that? Because Chief Arredondo testified that what Chauvin and his fellow officers did violated our use of force policy. It was wrong, it was unreasonable, it was excessive, it was deadly. So you've got that piece. Body-worn cameras, that's what we need, right? Because the police aren't going to misbehave if they know that everything they do is captured on their own body-worn cameras. And in Minneapolis, we had body-worn cameras. And we all saw what Derek Chauvin and those other three officers did to George Floyd. Executed an unarmed, defenseless, incapacitated, handcuffed citizen. So strong police leadership, use of force policies that make sense, body-worn camera footage. What did it accomplish? Did it save George Floyd? So when people say what we need to do is prohibit more police tactics, ban more things like chokeholds. If police officers are not the right people to have that badge on their chest and that gun on their hip and have the authority to order our cars to stop, order us out of our cars, order us on the ground, handcuff us, if they're not the right people, then we can see how the best police leadership in the world and the most stringent use of force policies and body-worn camera footage capturing it all in real time doesn't have any hope of actually impacting policing in America. That's why we need a sea change. And I've talked about it in other videos. It has to do with extremely vetting, with full citizen participation, those who seek the power that comes with a badge and a gun. Because it is only if you have the right people in the job, and there are so many good people in the job now, but there are also way too many bad people. Prejudiced people, trigger-happy people, biased people, sadistic people. That was Derek Chauvin. Too many of those people in the job. And for those people, all of the safeguards in the world and all of the police reform implemented will have no hope of altering their behavior. So it comes down to having the right people in the job. People who are in it for the right reasons, to protect and serve, not to hurt, not to be biased, not to be prejudiced. Hopefully tomorrow we will be talking about a topic other than the latest fatal police shooting. In the meantime, folks, please stay safe. Please stay tuned. And I look forward to talking with you all again tomorrow.